What's going on, beautiful people? So I've come back from a short break with the family away. There's been some good things happening in some of the aquariums, but bad things in some of the others. Right, first of all, I'm in the second studio. I don't know if you can hear that. The water levels basically dropped on a load of the aquariums, including the brand new cave aquarium as well. So everything needs topping up with water. So that is that all sorted. Now let me show you where we're at with some of the tanks, because one of them, the Harlequin Respora one, has gone bad. So whilst I was away, we had some really good sunshine. Now even though these windows are actually tinted, I know it doesn't look like it there, but actually you can see, look, there we go, that's where the tint is on. Now this tank has been absolutely spotless and looking great for a long time, and just over the last 2 days this algae has come out of nowhere. Now this has to be related to that sunlight coming through, because obviously the sun is really low in the sky, which means it's coming straight into this tank. Even though the back of the tank is actually blacked out, it's put algae everywhere, so that needs scraping off. And there we go, just like that. It's looking awesome again. This top section, look, is looking so good though. Like, I love the way Rotala grows out of water. It looks completely different to when it's underneath the water, to be honest. All the leaves are a lot rounder. Picking that up, do you know what I mean? Like a lot more rounded leaves. The Alternanthera is also coming out the top now as well. And that moss at the back, let me come all the way around. I mean, look at that. It looks so nice, doesn't it? And also, since I took out all the floating plants from the shrimp tanks because we wasn't getting any algae building up on the side, we've now got lots. Yeah, take a look. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to pick it up, or if I am at all, but maybe as I move left and right, look, you can see it sort of in front of that wood. Now that is like what we want. We actually want that. I want it everywhere, but I don't want it on the front. So I'm just going to give that a quick wipe down. There we go. So everything is going great in this tank here. This is the shrimp forest, of course. The plants are growing fantastic, aren't they? I've taken out, like I said, a ton of the floating plants, just keeping that small little area at the back. And actually there is a tiny little, we're going to pick it up, probably not, maybe you can see just in the centre there, there's a tiny little baby shrimplet, but it's not baby, that's probably about like 3mm in size, which means that the babies are surviving and that they're growing. And what's cool about that is that if you can get a batch of like babies to survive and start growing, you're pretty much onto a winner. It means the tank is doing great, and it means that all the other females in here will start doing the same soon, and it will just carry on and multiplying. Oh, so cool. Love shrimp. Now down in the shrimp playground, you can see on that last remaining pieces there of the floating plant, the water lettuce, we've got some sort of stringy thread algae. Now it's not hurting, so I'm just going to leave it there. But it is interesting how I haven't had that at all anywhere until the second I take out those floating plants, and it just goes to show how good they are at doing the job of sucking up nutrients to stop that happening. And you may also notice, look, hello little fella, that is a Carradina crystal black shrimp. Now that's I've got two in here. I think it's a male and a female I managed to get. But I just put them in as a test, just to see how they're going to work out. Might be a bit bright. There we go, look, what a beautiful little shrimp. Completely different, you see, from the Carradinas. Well, not so much the shape, but obviously you don't get colours like that from the Neos. It just doesn't happen. This is Carradina only, this type. So yeah, it's been in the tank now for, what we're going to say, about 3 or 4 days, and doing really well. I think I've seen a molt of it already. I saw a molt right next to where it was. It looked to be about the same size, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we're doing really well. What it does mean is that at some point I might be able to convert this tank to a Carradina, take out the Neos and do a whole new setup for them. Simply because the Carradinas need a more sort of established tank that's got tons of biofilm and algae and stuff like that everywhere. That's when they really do thrive. But look at it, so good. Oh, and I've just found an even better example of some of the young shrimp coming through. So obviously there's an adult there. Yeah, just behind it on that wood. It's about 1/3 of the size, I would say. So that's been born in this tank in the last like month or two. How long has this tank been set up now? I think this tank's been set up for a good amount of time. Oh, another one right on the back leaf there as well. Okay, we're cooking, everything's going good. And the more I look, the more they're dotted about everywhere as well. And another one, and another one. So yeah, this whole thing is doing so good, and it's just great to see it. It's the best success I've had with shrimp tanks so far, and hopefully it continues. So right here is the Cory tank. It's got a little bit overgrown. It looks worse than it is because with pearlweed it tends to just go rapidly in all directions. It's quite easy just to hack it back. There we go, that's cleared loads of that up. Look, that was actually really easy to do. And you can see here, look, I've got like a pot's worth of pearlweed, a few bits of rotala in there as well. Look at that, all the cories now know that something's going on, they're all coming around. I'm gonna put some food in and then see how many come to the front. There's way more than we're ever seeing, you see. There we go, look, now we're seeing a lot more in the foreground. All coming forward to eat that nice yummy food. Now there are actually a lot more of the pygmy cories as well, but they tend to hide out in the back area. They don't really come to the front unless I'm not in the room. And then as soon as I come in, they just all shoot off. They're very shy, but these guys, look, they are shy, but nowhere near as bad. And remember, all the smaller ones you're seeing here are ones that I bred myself, which is so cool. Now you might remember on the previous vlog, I told you about the rare ecosystem tank. We were going through some issues, algae on a lot of the wood. I cleaned it off and done a big water change. It's now, ooh, like 5 days later. Yeah, so hopefully you can see here, it definitely done the trick. So like on the wood, look, we're all clear again. And at that back, there was loads and loads of string algae and there's none of that anymore. Fish are all looking happy. Some of the diatoms as well. I had loads of diatoms on all over the little pebbles you can see there. That's also come off. Plants looking fresh again and everything great in this tank. But then also, as shown before I went away, the rainbow fish aquarium, absolutely spotless. I don't need to do anything to this tank anymore, it's just there. I mean, the background plants have grown right to the surface again, so they might need a nice sort of trim back. I'm going to try and keep the shape this time a little bit more rather than cutting them down really low. But yeah, everything goes so good with this one. This is in autopilot mode, I like to call it now, when you get to the point with the tank where it's just sit back, relax and enjoy it. Now coming across and taking a look at the African aquarium, look at this, more lily pads coming all the way to the top. Such pretty little things. I do like them, but the problem is, if you don't snip them, you lose those nice leaves down there. There's way less than there already was because there's been a couple of the lily pads up for a while now. Look at these fish swarming. They want some food. You hungry, guys? Oh yeah, many of you might be thinking, what did you do about your fish whilst you went away for feeding? Well, what I tend to do is a nice big feed the day before I go. On the day that I go, and then that's fine. Like, you know, a good 3 days, 4 days of a big feed like that, they're absolutely fine. I've come back. They've actually already been fed, but and it's, look, there's no issues whatsoever. They can go that long, there's no problem with that at all. Some people say they can go up to a week, that kind of thing, before you start seeing any sort of issues. I personally wouldn't leave it that long. What I would tend to do is, if I was going away for a lot longer, I'd get someone to come in halfway through and I'd make sure I measured out the food ready for them to put in, because you know what people are like. They feed fish like they'd feed like themselves and just keep going and keep going and keep going. Before you know it, you've got so much food at the bottom of your tank, you've got an ammonia spike, and I'm not there to deal. Oh, that would be an absolute disaster, wouldn't it? And I'm also working on something quite cool. You can see it behind me here. And it's also going to be this weekend's build video. Yeah, so it looks a little bit odd at the moment, but hear me out. It's going to look so cool. So I'm going for like a reef style. You know those reef tanks that have that coral that's like plates? That's sort of what I'm trying to create here, like layers of them, and then I can use those as mounting points to put on loads and loads of boosts of philandria. It's going to be like a boost tank. I'm going to have other plants in there as well, but predominantly the majority plant is going to be boosts. There'll be some Anubias petite as well. I'm thinking some Hygrophila pinnatifida in the background, and then maybe some stems or something looping over. I don't know. I want to create that freshwater reef look. I've done it before. I didn't really do it anything like as well as I could, but my skills were way more limited back then. I've got better, so hopefully this one turns out awesome. We've got awesome little bits of Redmore root as well, just like trailing everywhere as details. I think that looks pretty good so far. There'll also be a little bit more in the foreground here as well, so I'll attach some of the plants to the rocks, and here is the plants. Look at all of that boost we've got back there, and I've got even more in the other studio as well. Yeah, look at all of this down here. It's quite misted up, but you can see there we've got a whole load there, and there's the Hygrophila pinnatifida at the back. I think that's going to work really well. So basically just an absolute ton of rhizome plants that just attach to everything. Now over at the rice fish tank, again, everything going great. I did just scrape the glass off. There was a little bit of green spot algae on there, but I think because I put so many floating plants in this tank and the light isn't very powerful at all, it's just the right amount, so that the plants at the background there, they're all growing in nicely. I'm going to need to take out some of these floating plants soon actually, because we're starting to get in that situation where everything's getting covered. Fish wise though, we're all good. Now I've not seen any eggs yet. I mean, I don't really know if I've got males and females, to be honest. They could all be the same sex for all I know. I have tried looking it up, and I think like the males are more sort of streamlined and the girls are more rounded. So maybe it's just the wrong time of the year. Maybe as the temperature starts to raise and we get into spring, that should make a difference, because remember, I'm not heating this tank. The heat of it is in this whole outside room section that I'm in, which does fluctuate. It doesn't get too low, but it will warm up as the springtime comes along. Hopefully we get some spawning going on there and we get some eggs. They keep their eggs right in the back section. It's actually quite cool. But even if we don't get eggs, I mean, I'm still just enjoying the tank and I'm enjoying these fish. They're in such a good spot, you see, as I walk. Ooh, ow, I just walked into the door. As I walk from one studio to the other, I always sort of stop, have a little look, see what's going on, and then move on. And then the last tank that I really want to show you is this one here, the Albino Cherry Barb one. It's doing so well. I mean, first thing, boom, the fish. You can't get past them, can you? You look at them, even from all the way back here. They stand out so much. And then look at this here. This is a male Epistogramma. That's the Hong Shloi, and that was a baby, a really small baby. Oh look, and there's a Cory right behind him. Hello guys, best of friends. Any more Corys in the front here? Yeah, we go, there's one there as well. Oh, and there's our Bristlenose Pleco. Done a fantastic job as well, because there's no algae anywhere in the whole tank. Now the background plants have grown up really tall again, so they're probably going to need a trim back. And an update on the plant. Whoop. These were the leaves you saw last time that were planted. They've gone a bit sort of dried and dead. And then it's just carried on growing, and now there's new ones out again. So I don't know if that's normal. Is that what plants do? I don't know, but either way, it's growing, and that's the main thing. Now the moss on this tank was looking a bit worse for wear before, but look, it's all cleared up nicely. There's still some browny bits to the top, but you know, that's fine. That'll all grow back out again. I think that's where when I trimmed it a bit too short and it exposed the sort of underneath bit, but you're actually supposed to do that. You don't want to get in too thick. You just get a load of dead stuff underneath and waste matter. Look at you. Amazing, aren't you, eh? And of course, we are not to forget the electric blue Aquaria. Here they are. Hello guys, hello. Getting big. Getting big, look at that. Like they were nowhere near that size when I first got them. You can sit nicely in my hand now. They don't want to come out so bad. Look at the limnophilia. It's coming all the way around. So that started all the way at the back there. It's come to the edge, come forwards, and now it's shooting up at the front. I actually quite like it though, that's the thing. But I like it like that. And it can't stay like that, can it? You guys want some food? Yeah, give you some food. So what I like to do is give them a few pellets first of all, just like a tiny few, and just drop them near the surface of the water and then let them chase them all. Now most of them fall down because they're not like super fast eaters. This one there still waiting. There you go, take it, take it, it's there. It's quite a bit there, look. And then I just leave that. There's other fish in as well, remember, the Siamese algae eater, and there's Bristlenose Pleco, so they'll pick up some of those pellets as well. And then for them to chase up the surface, because they seem to stay near the surface for their feeding, I put a little bit of flake as well. Just a little pinch like that. There you go, guys. Help yourself. I might as well, I've pinched a bit too much there, so, oh, did you hear them then? You getting it? Oh, and these guys are going crazy. That wasn't anything like enough food for you. Sorry, I'll get some more. Here we go, just put it in the middle there. Sometimes I put it into the power head, but I quite like that little angle. Look, we can see everything. Look, falling all the way to the bottom, which means all the fish at all different layers are going to get it. Look down the bottom, we've got a nice big Bristlenose Pleco. That's one of the adult ones I bought ages ago in the shop that I had in a separate tank. So I put them both into this tank eventually, and they seem to really, really like it. Look at that, stunning. I love the sort of, I don't know, what is that, like patchwork on it? It's not patchwork, it's more like leopardy, is it? I don't know. Either way, I like it. And I definitely need to do some, whoa. The piranhas are jumping. They're not piranhas, Colombian tetras, sorry. Just look like little piranhas. But yeah, I was just saying that I definitely need to do something about all of this soon. It's getting a bit too much. Now that Amazon sword is just an absolute monster. It's taken over the whole tank. But I do like this top section where everything's just growing out though. I think that's pretty cool. So I'd like to leave that if I can. Like look, it's just got Amazon swords growing right out of the tank now. Right, so that's a nice little update of the tanks there. You know, I've been through quite a few tanks, haven't I, with you there? There's lots going on, you see, when you come back, stuff that needs fixing. So we've got through that. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like, the subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next one.